Okay, so we go live in 2 minutes and 58 seconds.
That's right.
Yep.
So you need to stop talking bad things behind Tom Harsha's back, Greg.
I'm going to be right back. Checked on my he could be a disruptor, but he's asleep in the kitchen, so hopefully he'll stay there.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll wake up in the next hour.
Yeah, he'll one out too.
By the way, I'm looking at this slide you sent over about the ultimate paradox, and I'm not going to read the quote out loud yet. We'll save it for later in the show, but I'm more thinking it's stop asking your sales manager what to do next. So
yeah, so
people just run to the desk every 5 seconds.
I had a manager give me that book when I was at Green Pea, and I've been devoted to the teachings of that book ever since then. Everybody knows about the 1 minute manager. The 1 minute salesperson isn't as popular, but it's really, really good.
What's different between the sales manager and the manager, according to Spencer Johnson?
The 1 minute manager is how to lead people, ask for goals, then you evaluate, then you redirect. Those are the three things from the 1 minute manager. The 1 minute salesperson is really about helping people get what they want, and then asking them, who else can I help get what they want, and setting goals for yourself. So, it's like the Who Moved My Cheese. It's like 90 pages, real easy to read. It's a great book. The whole time I was working in the dealership training, I was always the corporate trainer.
Actually, hey, Greg,
copy of that book. I see it.
Let's come back to that one in a minute. We're 5 seconds out.
All right.
And here we go.
Here we go.
So, Greg, welcome back.
Hello.
Good seeing you, Greg.
Good to see you guys.
It seems like every time you're on, there's some sort of rough transition going on in the dealerships. And we're asking you, how can dealers get around these objections that customers are throwing at them?
Right.
And today's show is no exception. Yeah,
well, it's been a dramatic change. So I see everything through a BDC lens, right? But I worked in a dealership for 23 years, so I can put that hat on too. And the marching orders to the BDC used to be just get them in here, right? That was the manager, just get them in here.
Well, their presence is their leverage.
Yeah, that ship sailed, right? With COVID, cat's out of the bag. Customers know, well, actually, I don't have to come to the dealership to get a payment or to get a trade value or to know my interest rate or to get a lease payment or to talk about the selling price of the car, all those pieces of the old Foursquare. It still makes up a deal. And customers now, where the showroom used to be the starting place, it's now the final step. Their trip to the showroom, they want it to be productive, and they have control of everything now. I mean, this isn't anything new. This has been going on since the internet has become prevalent in the business. But I don't need a salesperson to show me the features and benefits on a car. I don't need him to show me what's a fair price on that car. I don't need him to tell me what my trade-in is worth. I don't need him to tell me the prevailing interest rates or the specials from the manufacturer. I don't need that guy anymore for all of that. So the customers wrestled away the process from the dealerships. It was the same for 100 years. Nothing changed. And then the total disruption by the internet, it really puts the customer in the driver's seat. And it's really tough right now just because they don't want to come to the showroom until they're ready to do the deal, right? They've either experienced it or heard the stories or kind of can tell, that it's not the best experience sometimes when, especially if you're there for 4 or 5 hours. Now we all know. I used to tell customers, if you want to get out quicker, then just pay sticker, right? But it didn't really work. It was just something to cut up with them a little bit. But nowadays, the paradigm shift has to be there. That just get them in. That's not going to work, right? We have to talk numbers. We have to give them information that used to be taboo to give them. We have to do things over the phone or by email or through text or in a Facebook video. So that's changed, and it changed the skill level required by a BDC agent dramatically, right? And it's really more in tune what they've wanted to do all along, right? What always frustrated the BDC was I can't answer their questions, right? How much is it? We should be able to answer that question, and they couldn't. So now they're empowered to do that. And just in a nutshell, what we see as the best practice right now to get that customer into the showroom is to get sales involved. If we can't set an appointment, then and they have questions we can't answer, then let's get them on the phone with someone who can answer those questions and close a deal. So that process so now it's more of vetting the leads, finding that customer that's engaged and ready to do business now, and either setting an appointment that's going to show, or get them under the care in the hands of someone who can close the deal and answer their questions. And we've got some big dealers that are doing that. It works great. And we like to do warm transfers if possible. We can't always do that. We have all of our showrooms set up on Microsoft Teams, so we can talk to them in Teams. If they can take a call, or here, call him back, here's what's going on, kind of give them the story of the lead. So it's really more of a cumulative effect now to create those sales, where you've got the marketing, you've got the website, you've got all the tools out there, then you've got the BDC person or that concierge, whatever you call them, and the customer, and just bring them all together, whether it be from their living room or from your showroom. That's the norm now. And if you try to fight that, you're really going to have a strong headwind against you.
And speaking of strong headwinds, what are we hearing on the phone these days in regards to these customers that maybe bought a car at the height of the COVID market, $5,000 over sticker, 0 down, and now they've got a payment they're tired of making, and
only $5,000
cheaper. Well, yeah. If you're
and the cars have gone up. Yeah, mm-hmm. and the cars have gone up now. And I got a son looking for a used truck, and it's crazy what these things are going for.
Yeah,
and Jeff it's because the new ones are $60,000 now. But the people that bought during COVID, I think we've seen the worst of that. Based on the time, we're starting to see deals look a little more normal now with people that we're talking to, with our equity mining campaigns and just working that database. We did that to you, Mr. Customer. So if it's a bone to pick, and really, Alex, it's not specifically stated a lot by a customer. I don't know that it's in the forefront of their mind that I paid way too much for this truck, because they don't want to tell themselves that, right? They want to feel like I made the right decision. So I think it's time for us to just say, hey, that position you're in, we're seeing that, and we feel like it's our time to give back and make things right, and get you back on track. Let's sit down, review where we're at, find a vehicle that makes sense for your lifestyle and your budget, and then let's go from there. And that's really about the only thing you can do, right? If they're mentioning the fact that you charged me too much last time, then we realize that it was the market, but now we're ready to get back on track. Let's sit down and give us a chance to make things right, and that works. People appreciate that. It's not a bunch of salesy talk. It's just being real with them, transparent, but also caring about them. It's your customer. You did put them in that car, and let's see what we can do to make them happy and keep them a customer. And still might have to do it remotely, but we get past that, right? We get past that objection now. Okay, we've thrown that out there. We've talked about it, and now let's find the solution.
Yep. Buy a Stellantis product, because they have the biggest rebates right now. Speaking of that, we were every Friday, my company, we get everyone together and we talk about what people learned from the week. And our support team was talking about how many dealers are starting to increase the amount of negative equity they want to go after.
Right.
So a lot of the Stellantis stores are now going after $7,000 in negative equity, because they can bury so much of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this just getting back to, we're just going back to the old ways, right? The cycle, in a sense. I think that the customers that leased cars, very smart, because that resale value is guaranteed.
Well, if you could,
they don't have to bear that negative equity, when their trade cycle's up. And you're right. You just kind of see it's coming back. The inventory levels are back up. The advertising expenses back up. Floor plan is back up. Payroll is up, right? Everything's up. So we're reverting back to, the way we sold cars 5 years ago before the pandemic. And it's this all seems very familiar.
It took a lot longer to get here than I thought it would.
Yeah.
To get back here. Yeah. I thought it would happen really fast, because dealerships can change really fast.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know some dealerships that learned, from COVID, and they learned to keep that inventory lean, right? Yeah. You don't need a 120-day supply of new cars on the ground. You need
if your manufacturer will let you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a tug of war, really. I remember, Alex. I was selling cars. I was a manager at a domestic luxury dealership, and I overheard my rep outside on the phone talking about, pack them till they pop. That was their mission. Pack them till they pop. And he was talking about, loading up inventory.
Mm-hmm.
But that's his job, right? Sell cars. So.
Well, if you don't have the car, you can't sell it. So
that's true.
Yep.
But that's not literal, though, because looking during COVID, how many cars we sold that we didn't have.
I think there's a different argument to be made there. Like, nobody had the car, so
right, That's true.
So
That's
you didn't
true.
have a choice if you wanted a car. You had to wait it out.
Yeah.
That's not the case anymore.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think every time the industry goes through a crisis, it comes back better and stronger.
Mhm.
I think now we've finally accepted technology, right? We had to. A lot of people were still, not embracing it at a lot of different levels. Now there's AI, right? So, um, but I think the business is better now because technology accelerates everything. As Jim Collins says, it doesn't create, but it accelerates. So, and I love technology too. I just think it's a blast to work with. But the market right now, the customers, they're well informed, they're cautious, and they just want what they want, right? It's not it's not rocket surgery, right? If I'm going to come to your showroom, I want to be prepared for a productive visit. That's what it boils down to with them. And that's what you have to create is that, and a lot of that is being prepared. The word being prepared. Um, the
Are there particular things that you do to get that customer prepared before they actually come into
Yeah,
the dealership?
Alex, show that one slide. Uh,
Sure.
Not the 1 minute salesperson, but the other one.
This one?
Yeah, that one. Yeah. So, Jeff, this slide is literally 22 years old. I first made this slide in 2002 when I was working at a Ford dealership. And at that time, Ford was trying to get everybody on board, with the internet. They had their operational blueprint, all those kind of things. But anyway, I was a BDC manager. I was also the trainer at this store. So I use this slide to illustrate that the road to the sale is still there, right? You've got the greeting digitally happens online, but the needs assessment still happens. They just don't need the salesperson. The search for the car, find the right car, review the features and benefits, and then select the car. um, Learn the price, learn what your trade's worth, understand your finance options, and then pick a dealer. And we all know they visit less than 2 dealers now, right? To
Is that
buy a
what it
car,
is?
1.8 or something. And this is everything in the box here. They want it to happen before they come in. It's all pre-visit. So the road to the sale hasn't changed. Customers just taking control of it, and they want to do most of it before they come in. Now, if we do this, there's a huge benefit because when they show up, they're there to buy. Take a car for a spin, review the paperwork, get the odometer reading, and away we go. And you'll see a lot of dealers advertising, a guaranteed 1 hour delivery, those kind of things. This is how they do it. They get all that stuff that takes time in the showroom. They get that done up front. So
Mm-hmm.
what we teach our agents is that if you're asking for an appointment and the customer says no, then there's probably something on this checklist that they've yet to do, right? Either they're not really excited about that car, or they have more work or research to do. So our job is always to move them to the next step, whatever that is. So maybe we need to talk pricing and payments and give you a good firm offer on your trade-in. Maybe get you pre-approved. Maybe you want to see the Carfax. Whatever's next in that customer process, we need to get them to that step because eventually the next logical thing to do is test drive the car. So this is what I mean by getting them prepared for a showroom visit. Is let's take care of as much as we can ahead of time, Mr. Customer, that you want to take care of it. Now, you don't do this. If you ask for the appointment, they say, yeah, we don't say, well, hold on, before you come in, we want to do all this stuff, right? No, we take the appointment, but it's when they say no, that's when you got to dig in, have a conversation. And, when the customer feels like you get me, when they feel like you understand and you get me, that's really when they trust you. That's when they start to trust you. and it becomes a lot easier to persuade them or sell the benefits of coming into the dealership, reviewing your options in person, and going from there. Really, is what it boils down
Road to the sale lives on,
to.
lives forever, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. The the topic today is overcoming these objections. So it's hard to put into words, but the objections now are more along the lines of I need this information instead of well I can't pay that, right, or I don't want to put 1,000 down. That doesn't happen at this point, right? That happens when you're negotiating the deal. This is I need to know. I need a picture of the hitch on the car, right? Or I need to see this tonneau cover, or they're looking for info. I need to know what my finance options are. Um, it's more questions about and what are those? Those are all buying signals, right? So BDC reps they want to get frustrated with all the customers' pesky questions, but those are all buying signals, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when you're starting to get those, this is when you got to be thinking about, okay, it's time to strike, right? It's time to ask for the appointment. And if I can't get the appointment, get them turned over to someone who can answer these questions so we can get this car sold. And, that the customer's goal is to buy a car, ours is to sell one, and just stay focused on really go back to the other slide now, the one before
I
the
was just
one
going to
that's,
say, before you do, a little thing just popped in my head
yeah.
because I went through this, and it's like if you, and I know it's hard to do when you're working in the dealership because your thoughts are more about how do I make my job easier than how do I make the customer's life better. But um, if you can imagine yourself buying a car multiple states away, like it's going to be a fully remote deal. You're not going to see this car. It's just going to be
Right.
delivered to your house. If you treated every single customer like the deal was going to be done that way, I bet you would have insane success.
Uh, yeah, we both know somebody, Alex, uh, that has that mentality. Our which is Vera Cadillac in Miami, and uh, their their paradigm is so unconventional, but man, does it work! It's amazing. Yeah. So I feel like salespeople sometimes we've got dollar bill signs in our eyes, right? When we're sniffing around for a commission or a X on the board. And really, someone gave me this book when I was a Green Pea, 1988, and I
I
read the
got
book
it.
and I loved it. To these, I've used them every day of my life since. But this ultimate paradox: to have more success with less stress, I must stop trying to get what I want and help others get what they want. That resonated with me, and this is what we teach our C agents. You need to have a servant mentality. You're working for them, and we need to serve them, and we need to help them get what they want, whatever that is. And we go into every interaction with that focus. Right? How can we be helpful? Customers, they have expectations, right? Uh, they want things to be fast and convenient, of course, but they want knowledgeable agents. They want information, and it doesn't hurt if they feel like you care, right? If you genuinely care about the outcome of this interaction or this transaction. So a lot. This is really resonates now with people because I, I think because it's a big ticket item that in the back of their mind there's risk, right? Whether there's risk, and that's what makes it. That's why you need a salesperson to uh, affirm the decisions. This is a good decision. It fits your budget. It fits your lifestyle. It does. You wanted this, and it does this, and it takes that most of the time for a customer, to just okay, let's do it, right? And one of my favorite closes when I was a salesperson was just take a deep breath and say, "Greg, write me up." And you can't believe how many people would, okay, let's do it, right? They just need that, right? They need that affirmation. They need that reassurance. Their biggest fear is that they're going to make a mistake, right? So it's our job to make sure they don't make a mistake. And if you go into it that way, I think things manifest just from that behavior. Uh, and you can't just give a kid a script now and expect them to be successful. Uh, it, when I got trained by Tom Stuker in the early 90s, you literally could just read the script, right? Because the customers, they had to come to the dealership.
Yep.
Our first BDC, it was just nothing but a phone room, right? Because there was no internet, right? So it's the customer still wants the same things. They just have a lot more resources now, and the ability to say no. They have choices. They have options, and you have to go into this process and be able to put yourself in their shoes. Is what it boils down to.
But you
I
also
tell
have
people,
all the different pieces of technology you need to be,
yeah,
fluent in.
yeah.
Text, chat, video,
Well,
phone.
you think about the tech if you're in the business, you think about the tech, and for everything, just take Service Scheduler for example. That's a technology, but there you got 20 choices of this one tech, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of complexity into it when you dig down into it, but it all really comes back to supporting and adhering the process. So when the process is in step with the philosophy and the technology, that's when things work. My boss used to tell me if you have a good process, average people can perform well in it, right? But if you have a bad process, even good people can't perform well in it. So that process is, kind of what would you call it? It's kind of the keystone, really, of all your training, all your BDC training, all your word tracks, all those things. It really is to support a great experience from this process. It doesn't have to be for the customer either. It's a better experience for us too when there's no friction, right? It's just better, right? It's more enjoyable. It's more fun. Uh, I mentioned earlier, we can now do things that we never could do in the BDC, like quota payment, right? Or give them an estimate on your trade. When I was selling cars, if I quoted a payment, my boss would send me home for the day. Or just get in the car and go with them, because you're done. So it's here now, and it's refreshing in a way, and you just got to understand it. And uh, I think that what we forget about is the importance of how you treat people. So if everybody treated everybody the same, then the cheapest dealer would always win, right? Because it would just be about the price. But it's not just about the price. It's about how you treated me. Because people will pay more to get treated better. And
Mm-hmm.
they'll say no if they're being treated poorly. So we focus a lot on the quality of the interaction, whether it's a phone call. I'm usually thinking about a phone call. Jeff Alex commented the other day. I called him to talk about this, and he says, "So you're a phone guy. You just call first, right? Instead of texting me." I said, "Yeah, that's what I do. I call." Uh, so um, those things are so important, and the common denominators I see with our agents that are the very best on the phone. First of all, they sound completely comfortable on the phone. There's no nervous tension. They're not talking too fast. They're not saying It doesn't sound like they're reading. They literally just sound very comfortable on the telephone having a conversation with the customer, right? And they do that because they know they're just there to help, right? They don't have any fear because all they're doing is trying to help. When you're helping someone, they usually don't push back, right? It's when you're trying to push them that they push back. So they go into the call assuming the appointment. They're very comfortable with the call. They they kind of have an idea where the customer is in the process. The process we put up there earlier, depending on where the lead's coming from, tells you a lot about where the customer is in the process. If it's a credit app or a trade value or get my best price. They also pay attention to whether or not they're local or not. So I see a lot of email templates say, hey, stop by and check it out. And they're 3 hours away. So they're relevant. They're congruent. We do have a script.
Hey, Greg,
right?
how do they know they're local?
It depends on the quality of the lead, right? So if it's a GM third-party lead, you might not be able to tell where they are. Might just have a name and a phone number, but usually you have a zip code or a lot of times they're already in the CRM. That's the first thing I tell them to check. You know what? Is this our customer already? That's our step one. Identify your customer. Who are they? Has the showroom given them information Saturday? Here they are shopping online Monday, right? So who are they? Are they in the CRM? Have we given them information? Have they done business with us before? And then if I can, tell if they're local. A lot of times customers will tell you in their comments, I'm a couple hours away or it's not all, you don't always know, but a lot of times you can figure it out and just Google their, just Google them too and see the,
Yeah, I in my car shopping nationwide, I got all those templates. I said, just come on down and take it for a test drive.
yeah.
I have told, and I put it in the comments, and everyone, I'm in Vermont. I am not in California.
Right.
So I am not going to be coming down for a test drive today. But nobody paid attention.
Yeah. Man, I tell you,
none of them were using a professional call center. So there's that too.
Right. We still make mistakes. We still miss the question sometimes, and it baffles me. But it's people getting in a hurry. So the thing about in a busy BDC is things are moving quickly, but you have to know that when you get someone on the phone, first think about how hard it was to get someone on the phone. You probably made at least 5 dials to talk to a person, maybe more, depending on the type of leads you're working. Slow down. It's now time to slow down conversation, but follow the process, right? So have a conversation, but follow the process. And when you go too fast, you sound pushy. You're not listening. I think we get the script. I get too hung up on this cool thing I get to say, and I'm not really listening, right? Because I'm thinking about how I'm going to respond before I even hear what they're saying. So really slow down, listen to your customer. One of the best ways to do that is to repeat things back to them, right? When you reflect what they're saying, that slows things down a little bit, but also resonates with them that, hey, this person gets me, right? You understand me. I always tell my agents, customers
unless
always
you're me, that drives me nuts.
Yeah. Well, customers will always agree with themselves. So just repeat what they said and they're going to agree with you, right? Just put it in your own words, feed it back to them. So imagine their head bobbing right on the other end of the line, right? Yeah. So, and then another thing they do is they ask for the appointment right out of the gate. And that's not in our script, but it's okay because they basically have a scorecard at AllCall. And when the call ends, you should have done these things, right? And one of them is ask for the appointment multiple times. So they know, to pass this call, because we have a QA process, it's tied to their pay. So they know for this call to pass the grade, they have to ask for an appointment at least 3 times, unless they set an appointment, right? So they ask right out of the gate, hey, it's Greg over at ABC Motors. Notice you're interested in our truck. It's a beautiful truck. Got a lot of people looking at it. Can you come in today and test drive, or would tomorrow be better? And they go right for it. And I don't know, 25, 30% of the time, the customers, they might still have a question or two, but I want to come check it out, right? If that doesn't work, they get a no, then they start digging into the steps. Where are you in the process? What are you trying to accomplish now? Are we talking days, weeks, months? And just start having a conversation and let them know, listen, I'm here to help you. Do you need information on your trade? Would you like to get pre-approved to make sure everything's okay there? What can I do to help you be prepared to come in and buy this car that you want so badly? And I don't blame you. It's a beautiful car. So again, that's that assumptive mentality. They also let people know that they're not a salesperson. Right? I'm an online concierge, is what we use with most of our dealers. All of our Highlines, we're online concierge. My job is to help you. I'm not going to try to shove a car. They don't say this, but the message is I'm not a salesperson. I'm not going to try to shove a car up your, sideways over the phone. But, I'm really here to help you and kind of detach from the outcome, because you, as a BDC rep, you really have no control of the outcome when they come to the showroom. It's just focus on the benefits of coming in, sit down, reviewing your options, and going from there.
So, Greg,
they also know when to get a TO, right? So again, we said the process hasn't changed. Well, a lot of things haven't changed. And when a customer is showing buying signals and you can't get them to the next step. So let's say you go on a test drive in the showroom, you come inside, guys, let's sit down and write some numbers. No, just give us your card. We're going to go drive other cars. What do? You get a TO, right? You go to your manager. Here's what's going on. They want to leave. He comes down, tries to get them to sit down and look at numbers, right? Move them to the next step. Well, in the virtual world, the same process is going on. So do what you would do in the showroom. Get a TO. Let's get a manager involved. Let's get a good salesperson on this. Let's get somebody that can answer these questions. And that's a win, right? Where that used to not be a win, but that's a win now. And our customers want that. They're like, hell yeah, let me talk to them. It's still okay to get a commitment, right? Because I can still say, so Alex, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get you over to my sales manager, Jeff. There'll be a short pause while I tell Jeff what's going on. But let me ask you a question. So what you're saying is, if we can get to this payment where it's comfortable, then this is the car you want. Is that right? Yes. So when you TO that, it's such a better TO for the mindset of the person that you're asking for help. It's like I could come up and hand you a name and a number on here. Call these people. I can't get them in. Okay, why not? Right. Or here, call this customer. They live 2 hours away. He's got a trade in. We've done the appraisal on it. He's really on the edge. He's really not sure whether he lease or buy, and he's not sure about his cash down. But he does love the truck. And I think if we get the numbers right, then he'll come take delivery. Now, who do I want to call for you? Here's a name and number. Call this or tell me the story, right? And so that TO virtually has to be just like the TO in the showroom. Here's what I got. Here's what's going on. Here's what I need you to do. And The showroom has to embrace this, right? They have to want that, and the ones that do are selling more cars than the ones that don't. Basically, I mean, if you're just going to sell people that come to your showroom, you're obviously missing business,
Yep.
especially if you just even share the data with them, right? And there still are some stuff like that. There's still some dealers like that, and
Yeah,
they
it's
refuse they
unfortunate that
refuse to change.
there are a few who are kind of laggards here, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Greg, we've got a couple of questions from Ryan Everson, actually.
Oh, hey.
So I think I want to save his first one for last because it's about AI. We definitely
Okay.
want to jump in there. But first one's right up your alley because you're one of the unique call centers that I know of who does spend a lot of time in the dealer's CRM and isn't in a separate system primarily. Um, but Ryan's saying most automotive CRMs aren't well suited for high volume outbound BDCs, but using a separate purpose built contact center platform creates issues around lead visibility due to the lack of the CRM's APIs. And you all are manually going into the dealer's CRM and making updates there, aren't you?
Yeah, when we make contact. So the one thing we don't do. So day one, everything's done in the CRM. The lead comes in there. A lot of CRMs won't generate tasks till the next day anyway, right? Event Solutions will, some will, some won't. But anyway, the lead comes in. We're going to pick up the phone call. The email, we're going to send a personalized email from the CRM. We're going to text from the CRM. Uh, we'll if we get a hold of them, we're going to put the notes in the CRM. If we set an appointment, we're going to log the appointment in the CRM. If we turn it over to the showroom, we're going to assign it to whomever, put the notes in there, keep the CRM nice and tight. The rest of the uncontacted process, like this person's not answering the phone, they're not calling us back, they're not responding to our phone or email, that unqualified process, we automate the email and the texting. And then we take that process and we clone it in our BDC software Volley. So now we have the same process running side by side in Volley and the CRM. And when we make contact, then we go into the CRM, update it, change the status, put in the notes, put in the appointment, whatever. The thing we don't do is we don't log something that didn't happen, right? So and we can make a lot more calls this way for our dealers if we don't have to left a voicemail. What's the value of that? It tells you nothing. I'm telling you something that didn't happen. So, and we're very upfront with dealers before we get on because we all have learned that if it's not in the CRM, it doesn't exist, right? And my thing is, well, nothing exists because we didn't talk to them, right? We got a voicemail. So, uh, I recommend Volley to big dealerships. It makes you a lot more efficient. It's software. It's call center software specifically for automotive. I don't think there's there's a lot of call center softwares, but what Scott Davis has done is very unique and perfect fit. If you've got, I would say, uh, 3+ people in a BDC, but you benefit from Volley. Our agents, the ones just doing outbound calls, they're hit 200 calls a day, 150 calls a day, and again that comes back to when someone answers the phone, slow down, because you're going to this right. So what Volley does is it just pushes your calls. It's not a robo dialer, but it just starts. I can have a pre-recorded voicemail to leave, just speeds you up tremendously. You can make more calls. So the more calls you make, the more people you talk to, and more appointments you set. So it's like the old Jackie Cooper, the more hands you shake, the more money you make. It's the same thing, right? More calls we can make, the more people we're going to talk to, the more appointments we're going to set, and so on and so forth. So Volley's a good piece of technology that I'd recommend to dealers of a decent size.
I'll second that. I mean, that's one of the that's one tech that we have integrated with to push
Right.
payment information over to, and the customer updates
Yeah.
when they're engaged. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That works. And there is a good API process with Volley. Usually, it's not Volley's fault that the integration isn't great. It's the CRM. Right? They're how they are, right? And the CRMs now, a lot of them are owned by the DMS, and we really know how DMS work. And oh, my picture froze there a little bit. Sorry. The other technology. So when AI happened, our knee-jerk reaction was, "Oh no, right? This is a threat to anybody who's running an outsourced BDC." And then we got over that and realized we just need to embrace it, right? We need to let the AI do the repetitive, automated things and make us more efficient so we can have more high-level conversations. The AI is really kind of vetting all that, pushing that high-level conversation, that engaged customer towards you. I love AI. I think it's cool. I use ChatGPT a lot. It's great with. I think it's a great way to get people connected. But I think the human touch, the emotional intelligence, persuasion, excitement, urgency, congratulations, affirmations. I think all that needs to come from a human. But it can reduce costs, right? So you don't have to have as many BDC people if the AI is vetting all these opportunities and pushing the engaged people towards you. And then the other thing I like about AI is not having to guess right at the database. So you want to do an upgrade campaign, for example, and people in a window of ownership, right? You want to target those people, and you try to be smart about it. You try to pick people that are over halfway through their loan. You control the radius, from the dealership. You look at how much down payment they put down. Maybe there's a closed RO within the last year, so you know that they're kind of still loyal to the dealership. And then you cross your fingers and hope I've put together a good list where AI can absolutely curate that list. And if they have the car anymore, what their credit score is, it can rank their propensity to be in the market right now. I think we always know that 3 to 5% of the people are in the market, right? So it stands to reason that 3 to 5% of your database is in the market. Well, AI can tell you who they are, right? It can tell you who they are, and that's golden. So we love AI. We find more and more ways to use it to our benefit, and at the same time preserve our value to the dealer to have those human interactions, that quality interaction, that empathy, and all those things it takes to sell a big ticket item. Right? If we were selling Hisense TVs, none of that stuff would matter. It would just be about price and how quick I could get it. But we're selling cars, and cars are a part of our life. It's how we get to grandma's house, how we get to church, how we get the dog to the vets, how we get to schools, how we get to work. It's almost like a family member, the car. So
Well, Ryan has a
there's emotion attached to cars too, So,
well, Greg, Ryan's got a specific question in regards to AI here.
Yeah.
Have you done any testing of any voice AI agents, and not necessarily for fresh leads, but he's specifically asking about reactivating some old leads?
Okay, I thought he was going in a different direction there. Well, yes, right. So I don't want to get pitchy. Core AI does that for us. Trade-in IQ does that for us, which is a Fricotech product. Core AI is Todd Smith company, and we use that to to basically score leads. Really, is what we're doing. We're taking a group of people, and the AI is telling us who's put to the top, who's most likely to buy a car now, and it knows who's in the market from their online behavior. So it can give us a score from 0 to 1,000. And we'll usually take the list, curate it, and everybody that's 500 and above, that's who we'll call. We'll email everybody, we'll text everybody, but we'll call these people or anybody that replies to a call or a text. So now we're fishing where the fish are, right? Now you're focused on customers that have a high probability or a higher probability of setting an appointment than somebody you really don't know anything about. It's been in the CRM for 2 years and so on. I think also, though, you should never have leads in your CRM that haven't heard from you. You've got to have nurture marketing. You've got to have something going out weekly or monthly to your entire database just to keep yourself in their inbox, stay top of mind. People will do something when they're ready. And when they are ready, you have to come to mind, right? That you have to be part of that conversation. Now that I'm ready to do something, well, let's go see Alex. We've been getting his stuff for 3 years. He's still there. That's amazing, right? So I think it's negligent to not nurture your database, keep it clean, keep the duplicates out of there, try to be relevant. My mom told me one time when I was a kid, you only call me when you want something, right? And we're guilty of that with our customers. We only call them when we're going to sell them something. And there's a lot of reasons to just reach out and say hi. If even if it's just a birthday call and a coupon for a free oil change or anything, it can't always be about you giving me money. So when you nurture the database, say you put somebody in a car today, 3 years from now, when they're getting in that trade cycle mode, you either have done a great job following up with them or you haven't, right? So I think that's where it's easy to fall short-sighted here, is that you have to do things today that you may not benefit for 3 years, right? But that is the essence of putting first things first, right? And really set yourself up to keep increasing business and not always be stuck in this plateau. And I think that Business Development Center, that's our name, it's really outbound campaigns that are truly incremental sales, right? Answering phone ups, responding to internet leads, we're reacting to something. It's really that proactive, smart prospecting, relevant, congruent messages that benefit them. That's where the true incremental sales come from. And the beauty of them, too, is that the marketing cost is really low, right? We didn't pay to get that lead, that we already have that customer. They're not shopping you, like a GM third-party lead. They're shopping 5 dealerships. This person, someone in your database, they're not shopping you right now. We're notifying you that you're in a position to do some cool things here. And the grosses are higher. The trade-in is a car that you sold it new, you serviced it. It's you don't have to pay auction costs or shipping costs. Everything about it, man, is better than trying to make a living off internet leads and phone ups. Sure, that's got to be part of it. I did a blog a while back about cornbread, right? If cornbread is 2 parts flour, 1 part cornmeal, And if you get that recipe wrong, then the cornbread is not going to be very good. Well, your database is kind of that way in your marketing efforts. You can't uh, you can't if half of your leads are third party leads, then you're never going to see a 12 to 15% close rate. It's mathematically maybe not impossible, but it's mathematically improbable for sure. So I know there's a lot of tech out there to mine your database and so on. A lot of different choices, but to me, that's the main strategy. And then what we can glean from the phone and internet leads, that should make up the rest. And it's the other way around. And conversely, that lead, that low close rate lead, it costs you the most to get it. It costs you the most to work it because you got to pay somebody to do it. And it has the lowest close rate, the lowest gross profit. Everything about it's bad or tough, and it's just a tough way to make a living. And I see a lot of dealers trying to grow, and they're really missing sight of, what what's right there in their database, in their own backyard, so to speak. If I never had to work another internet lead again, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. I'd much rather just be an outbound call center.
So, Greg, to put a bow on what you were just saying, or put a dollar amount on it, even, we were talking about this morning in another session I was in. But what is the value of a shop or a customer to a car dealership? So how much is every single customer in your database worth? And keep in mind, the average dealership has 21,000 of these in their database.
Right.
So the average customer has a lifetime value of 50 grand to just shy of $200,000. Multiply that by 21,000. That's how much your database is worth.
Wow.
That's one way to do it.
And we when I say we, in the dealership, we don't even know how to navigate through it. We don't even. Most people have 30% of their stuff is bad data. It's either a duplicate or they're long gone or they don't own that car. The Doge found people 130 years old getting Social Security. Well, we got
300
people
years old.
10 years ago. We're still sending them a happy birthday because we don't know. It's pin the tail on the donkey is what it is. Let's just hope and pray that we do the right thing. That's what I love about Core AI is it takes all that data, cleans it up, and it puts it in a environment where it's safe and you own it and you can do anything your mind can conceive with that data. And Alex, I know I've heard you comment many times about the data in our DMS and how much it needs to be owned by the dealership, not the DMS provider. I've heard that come from you since I met you 10 years ago. So
yeah, go read your contract, see who owns that data.
Yeah. I think BDCs right now,
and then negotiate that contract because you can negotiate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I think BDCs right now are in a, kind of a 4.0 stage, wherever we are now with AI technology. Customers, the close rate in the showroom is higher than it's ever been. And that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing. So I think I like what's happening. I like the technology, how it accelerates things, makes you more efficient. But to me, being in the car business is just fun, and it's a lot of fun right now when you see things work, right? And crack the code on something you've been struggling with for 20 years. Like, who in my database is most likely in the market now? And before, well, you'd have to canvas all 21,000 of them, and these databases that Todd is scrubbing, they're going from 80 down to like 16,000. This is real people that still live there and own the car. And, you know, it's we've always known that, right? We've always known that, but now we have the tools to manage it and influence it and stuff. So.
Well, Greg, we're hitting the 2 p.m. hour, and you are AllCall. If anybody wants to know more about AllCall, it's allcall.com, right?
MyAllCall.com.
Or MyAllCall, that's right, myallcall.com. Yeah. And I've worked with you for years.
Yeah.
Your people are always the nicest and most willing to jump through hoops and help set up things the way the dealer wants it done.
Yeah.
I highly recommend some AllCall.
Well, that goes back to we want to help people get what they want, right? When we do that, we win. I had a dealer quit yesterday, and small dealer. No, I don't know that she really needed us. She had 3 rooftops and stuff, and she said, "I think it's going to be better if we just, do something different." I said, "Whatever is best for you is best for us," and I mean that. Whatever is best for your dealership, that's what's best for AllCall, and we live by that. And it's from that principle that everything flows. Our training, our QA processes, everything is centered around. It says on our website, experience-driven communication. That's what we're concerned about: the dealer's experience, their customer's experience, and our employees' experience. So, appreciate the good words,
Excellent.
Alex. I first met you at a dealer socket user summit in Orange County. I went on after you, and I had a deck with like 40 slides. And I sat in there, Jeff, and watched Alex's presentation. He had 3 slides. It was a really good presentation. One of them was the tattoo of the Apple logo. You remember that slide?
Maybe.
Like, this is branding right here. This guy had an Apple logo tattooed on his arm. So, anyway, it's great to know you guys. Appreciate the time.
Thank you, Greg.
And
Appreciate
we're here to help people any way we can.
Sounds great.
Thanks, Greg, and everybody for tuning in.
Have a good weekend.